Hey everybody, it's Steve Riley. Welcome to this episode of Great Practice, Great Life. We've got a terrific one for you today. A lot of things happening in this particular episode. It's going to weave, it's going to twist, it's going to sound like a knot. We're going to pull some strings. Our goal is to help you think practically about a couple of different issues in your practice. To do that, our stars today are Brent Doré and Carl Doré. They're the backbone of the Doré Rothberg Law Firm in Texas. Now, I've known Carl for a while because Carl's a longtime Atticus member, and then Brent took over the mantle of the law firm, and he's been a longtime Atticus member. As we dig into this episode, they're going to talk about a pivotal year. In 2020, they had a fantastic year, incredible year. However, in 2022, they nearly lost everything, and they had to reinvent their firm. They're here today to talk about what they had to do to redesign the firm, reinvent the firm, talk about what happened, and share their insights, stories, and lessons, everything from how they turned the firm around to how to successfully, or sometimes bumpily, transition from founder to new owner. Brent, let's start with you. What happened in 2020? We had a record year. 2022, the wheels fell off of the law firm. Now, I want to set context. Where do you guys practice? What's your practice about? Like, who do you serve? And then let's talk about what happened.
Sure. So Doré Rothberg Law is we're proudly celebrating our 35th anniversary in 2025. Full service kind of business law firm, originally based in Houston, and now we also have an office in Fort Worth, Texas, in the DFW Metroplex. We do a lot of work with oil and gas service companies, but we also do general business, estate planning, probate, real estate work as well. While a lot of people, 2020 was a rough year, and to be sure, it was in many ways for us too. A lot of our clients, when oil prices go down or negative as they did in 2020, that can be, we're doing a lot of mineral liens, collection work, bankruptcy work, that sort of thing. So 2020 was kind of the culmination of, up to that point, about 30 years of Carl building the firm and that sort of thing. 2021 was a good year for us. Kind of went down a little bit, but I don't think we thought too much of it. The main, within 2022, I'll never forget, it was Q1 of 2022. We were looking around going, what the heck just happened? Our cash flow kind of fell apart on us. We realized we'd been too conservative in backfilling positions of people who had left. We did not get hit so hard during like peak COVID with losing people. But the headhunters came out strong in 2021, and we lost some really great people in 2021. And we had a couple people who left, other reasons too. And we kind of looked around and go, what the heck just happened? Like we just had not, I think the best way of saying it is we were too conservative on not backfilling, too nervous to do that. And then also not being tight enough on our systems and processes, especially on the collections, like our own collections, like our billing, our pre-bills, all that kind of stuff. And then I think the third thing was, I've told Carl and my other partners, is there were some creakiness in the whole of the ship, even in 2020, that we probably should have invested in then, namely like going to cloud-based systems and technology and infrastructure, and we didn't. And then we started doing that and went live with that at the end of 2021, 22. Well, when you got to write big checks to technology companies and everything, that's going to have a big crunch on the cash flow too, especially when the cash flow is kind of terrible already. So it really put us in a tough spot in 2022. But we'll talk more about this, but because of some of the things that we did coming out of Atticus, coming out of these hard learned lessons, 2023, 24, and now 25 looking like they're going to be record years for us.
So this is my big argument. Carl's yanking my chain. So my argument is capacity has to be invested in first before you get the revenue. So revenue follows capacity. So what you guys did is you invested in 7 lawyers at the same time.
Now we had lost a couple. We had lost a couple of lawyers too, but it was a net increase.
Yeah. And to be fair, it wasn't all at the same time, but it was in that 6-month period.
Yeah. It was within the first week or so when a new attorney starts. I'll go up to him and tell, you know what, here's what you're going to see about 6 months from now. We don't hide your name on our website or LinkedIn or anything like that. You're building this firm's brand and your own brand and your own a base of contacts and clients and referral sources and all of that kind of stuff. We want to brag on you, but you need to know that with today's technology, headhunters are scraping that data and they're going to call you in 6 months. And I warned them that we had been known as a really good practice building of your legal capacity and capabilities within the Houston area and the Texas area. We have had one guy got his dream job at Halliburton. That's the one he wanted. We had another attorney who's now senior staff attorney with the DOJ in the bankruptcy section in Houston. We have one is general counsel of the second largest ag finance company in Texas. I warn them, pick good jobs when you get ready. If you want to leave, don't pick what a headhunter tells you, but recognize that your talent is increasing and your capabilities and capacity for thinking on your feet is going to increase, and be ready. And that's marketable. That has helped so that people aren't leaving in 6 months. Now it's maybe a couple of years if they do, or they're thinking maybe there's a long-term place for me here.
To our audience members who struggle with training attorneys, training staff, what advice, give them a couple of simple tips of what they could do practically today to improve their training processes.
Sure. I think it kind of goes to what I was saying before with Carl had his onboarding plan and we needed to adapt it and adjust and improve it going forward. And one of the big things we did was embrace video as a means of doing that. One thing, and part of it was I was frustrated with having to meet with people again and again to talk about the same stuff. So I would just, if I'm doing a training session on, our litigation timeline processes or our pre-bill processes, whatever the case may be, I'll just turn on the record function on Zoom or Teams or whatever, save it, and then we have a whole library of those resources, and then I can pull those into the onboarding or onto the training materials. Another thing we get a lot when we do internal kind of polling or just getting feedback from our folks is, I want more mentoring. I want more mentoring. And I don't know if it's a generational thing or it's just a post-COVID. I don't know, but it definitely seems like it's something that is very necessary and important, but it's hard to quantify what that is. And so one thing that we did was we started twice a month, having lunch and learns with the team, where we rotated around. Every attorney kind of goes once a quarter or so, and they'll about different topics. And if they can't, and usually it'll be a topic where maybe they would have come to me and had some question about depositions or something, and we'll talk it through. And then I'm going to say, guess what? You're going to be on the lunch and learn calendar in 4 months to do a lunch and learn on prepping for depositions, because I personally believe that teaching something is oftentimes the best way of learning it. So we'll have a variety of those things. Sometimes we'll bring in guest speakers. Through some different organizations, I've had friends who are judges and mediators and things like that, and I'll have them pop on at lunch and share their experience. We had a sitting federal judge join us for a lunch COE last year to talk about legal writing and advocacy in the courtroom and all that. And funny enough, one of our brand new associates appeared in front of this judge just a couple months later, and he texted me afterwards and said, "She did great. I remembered her from that lunch and learn."